Good afternoon, Patriots, and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell, this is an old school environment. I'm going back to my stomping grounds. That's right. Today, I'm making this video in my classroom. One of my students wasn't able to make it in today, and so I had a free time to go ahead and knock this video out. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into this video. Before we do though, please make sure to continue liking, sharing, subscribing, and turn on those notifications. That way you know when the next video is coming up. Also, please make sure to continue supporting the brave patriots down below. They're in the trenches every single day, fighting for what's right and fighting against tyranny. Finally, I can't keep going until I give a huge shout out to my wonderful sponsor, Freedom Hill Coffee. Check them out.
Owned and operated by veterans, Freedom Hill Coffee Roasters create exquisite brews from select beans, offering a wide selection of roasts and merchandise. Apply Constitution Vet for a 10% discount on your next order. Freedom Hill Coffee Roasters, supporting noble causes and brewing excellent coffee for those who love God, family, and country.
What is your true north? This can vary person by person. It can be your goals, it can be your faith, it can be your family, and it can be your ambition. Regardless of what your true north is, the path getting there is what matters. In this video, we're going to dive into that path and understand the reality to achieving your true north. So as always, sit back, relax, grab your drink, and let's get started.
We shall oppose one another in the course of time. Now we're working together, and I'm asking you.
For patience, I expect.
When the people disagree, bringing them together requires going slow till they're ready to make up the
Now
difference.
shit on the people, and what they want and what they're ready for. I don't give a goddamn about the people and what they want. This is the face of someone who has fought long and hard for the good of the people without caring much for any of them. Now I look a lot worse without my wig. The people elected me to represent them, to lead them, and I lead. You ought to try it.
I admire your zeal, Mr. Stevens, and I have tried to profit from the example of it. But if I'd listened to you, I'd have declared every slave free the minute the first shell struck Fort Sumter. Then the border states would have gone over to the Confederacy, the war would have been lost, and the Union along with it. And instead of abolishing slavery, as we hope to do in 2 weeks, we'd be watching helpless as infants as it spread from the American South into South America.
Oh, how you have longed to say that to me. You claim you trust them, but you know what the people are. You know that the inner compass that should direct the soul toward justice has ossified in white men and women, north and south, unto utter uselessness through tolerating the evil of slavery. White people cannot bear the thought of sharing this country's infinite abundance with Negroes.
A compass I learned when I was surveying. It'll point you true north from where you're standing. But it's got no advice about the swamps, deserts, and chasms that you'll encounter along the way. If in pursuit of your destination you plunge ahead heedless of obstacles and achieve nothing more than to sink in a swamp, what's the use of knowing true north?
As we have seen from the film Lincoln, we witnessed Thaddeus Stevens having a pretty passionate discussion with Abraham Lincoln. The topic is, how do we proceed? How do we abolish the evils of slavery? Thaddeus Stevens wanted to plunge headlong to fight for racial equality, regardless of the consequences. Abraham Lincoln, however, wanted to patiently build a foundation for legal equality, being mindful of the lasting consequences. Later on, I'll do another video on the difference between racial and legal equality. But he makes a great point though. While a compass can point true north, it doesn't show you the obstacles along the path. Rivers, mountains, blizzards, swamps, forests, the compass doesn't say any of that. And so if you really want to reach your true north, you have to be mindful of those obstacles. If those crucibles destroy you, what's the point of knowing true north? As you can tell, there is a modern day comparison to this. On one hand, you have those who want to get results now. who want to fix the problems now, plunge headlong without being mindful of the obstacles. The other side argues, hold on a second, this is a big deal. We can't mess this up. We have to take this slowly and be mindful of these crucibles that stand in our way. But that, of course, takes time. And so here we are, fighting against tyranny. Sometimes we may be weary, and sometimes we may ask a valid question. How do I navigate to true north? How do I endure this never-ending fight? The truth is, it will end. There will be an eventual result, and we will be victorious. But again, how do we endure that? My answer, my belief, lies within Psalm 23, 1-2. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. Now, I'm sure many of you may have heard this verse before, but I doubt many understand the real context behind it. See, if you go on Google and type that in, you'll find images like this. While this is not necessarily bad, it's not historically accurate. Same thing with this. What do you see? You see a very beautiful, lush, green forest area, towering mountains, crystal blue waters. The previous one, large, lush landscape, beautiful big pond. Here we have a very lush, green area with a huge amount of water, crystal blue. It looks pretty. And this is what most people think of when you hear the phrase green pastures or quiet waters. But if you look at the history behind this verse, it tells a whole nother story. This is the green pastures. This is the environment in which this verse was pertaining to. As you can tell, this is very different. This is nothing close to green pastures as what we saw before. In the land of Jerusalem, the green pastures were very sparse. In fact, the shepherds would have certain tracks that they would follow to let their sheep graze upon. But these tracts of green pasture was very small. In fact, a lot of hills had lines of these pastures. They did not cover the whole land. Now, to be fair, during the rainy season, you would see more green patches around these hills and mountains. But most of the time, it looks something like this. So what does this tell us? It tells us that when we lie down in green pastures, we're going to get enough to keep going. When this verse was written, it pertained to sheep grazing on small pieces of grass, small, thin strips of pasture. You will struggle until you get to the next pasture. When you are there, you can breathe, you can be quiet, you can be still. But when that's done, you have to go through another struggle, another challenge, another crucible. But the promise is that you will get to another green pasture. It's not this huge, massive, lush green environment. It's small pieces of rest in a very hostile realm. That goes one step further. The still waters does not mean a large, massive lake or an ocean. In this context, it means a very small stream, just enough to let you stop, breathe, and keep moving forward. These images are great examples of what this verse is actually referring to. So when we're trying to find our true north, it can be very disheartening because we may want quick results. We may want to solve all the problems now. And then if you see that verse, you might get even more disheartened, thinking, I'm doing everything right. Where's my big, lush green pasture? I'm doing everything by the book. Where is my large, beautiful, serene pond? That's not what it's about. The truth is that you are going to get enough. When you're going through that trial, that crucible, those obstacles, there will be a moment for you to stop, rest, and enjoy enough pasture and enough water to keep going through the next obstacle and the next crucible. That's the world we're in right now. That's the reality. And the faith comes knowing that your shepherd, the Lord, is going to watch over you. He's going to guide you through this harsh, dangerous land. The green pastures will come. The quiet waters will be there waiting for you. But it's going to be small patches throughout your life. And each moment is going to be enough to keep going, to keep moving forward, and to keep trusting your shepherd. And that, my brave patriots, is all I have for today. I hope this video provided some hope and encouragement during these trying times. Never surrender, never submit. This is Constitution Vet, signing out.